At the start of the film, we see a man named Jeff on his boat. He and his companions used to catch snakes and sell them. At this time, they were heading to a dangerous place believed to be cursed, where the world's biggest and most dangerous crimson anaconda was said to reside. This anaconda could easily prey on anything, even its own kind. When they reached their destination, Jeff's captain demanded more money because it was such a dangerous place, and neither he nor his boat were safe. Jeff took out the money and handed it to him, but the money accidentally fell to the ground. When the captain picked it up and stood up, Jeff suddenly stabbed him in the neck with a knife, killing him. Jeff then cut his throat with the same knife and threw the body into the river as if feeding something. Jeff's other companions witnessed this. Jeff then told them that he hates traitors. As they continued, they came across an idol in the jungle covered with snakes. Seeing this, Jeff remarked that the story of the crimson anaconda was true. Meanwhile, Jeff's companions discovered a lot of snakes and were delighted, quickly filling their bags. Jeff, on the other hand, took out his gun and went in search of the big crimson anaconda. When one of the three companions went back to the boat to put the bags full of snakes away, he saw the headless corpse of the captain standing in the water. He couldn't believe his eyes. Suddenly, the corpse sank into the water again, and something large began swimming toward him. Terrified, the man ran toward the jungle, but he didn't get far. A massive anaconda had caught him, wrapping around him and preparing to eat him by crushing his bones. Suddenly, the scene cuts off, and we are shown his other companion in the jungle. That companion suddenly threw something in fear when he saw the body of the massive anaconda coiled up. As the anaconda climbed a tree, it was evident from its swollen stomach that it had swallowed a human. Before the man could save himself and run away, his companion's corpse appeared in front of him, covered in a strange liquid, as the snake had begun to swallow him. After throwing the man's body aside, the snake quickly grabbed the other man in its clutches, crushing his bones against the tree and then consuming him. Far away, Jeff was quietly watching the entire scene, happy and satisfied. Instead of saving his companions, he acted as if everything was going according to plan. In reality, he wanted to capture this anaconda, intending to tranquilize it with his dart rifle. As the jungle animals began to make noise, the anacondas fled. The scene cuts, and we see a man named Beliang. Beliang worked in a circus with his companions, but after the circus closed, he bought all the performers from the owner. He planned to take them to Thailand and start a new circus there. They planned to travel to Thailand via the river, but they encountered a wooden container along the way. The captain wanted to change course, but doing so would delay their arrival in Thailand. Beliang threatened the captain, insisting that they must reach Thailand on time because he had taken an advance payment for their show. If they failed to perform, they would be ruined. In response, the captain suggested one solution: blow up the obstacles with dynamite. Unaware of the potential dangers, they detonated the bombs, clearing the way. However, as it began to rain, a large number of snakes fell onto their ship, having been released from the destroyed containers. Terrified, the crew attempted to hide, but many people were overwhelmed by the snakes. Using quick thinking, they managed to use a pressure pipe to clear the snakes from the ship. However, the bathroom suddenly collapsed, and many snakes fell on Beliang, who was hiding inside. Desperate to escape, he jumped into the river and reached the shore, only to encounter a king cobra ready to strike. Before it could bite him, a man crushed the cobra with his arm. This man was Jeff, who saved Beliang's life. Grateful, Beliang brought Jeff onto his ship. Jeff claimed to be a wildlife explorer who had been stranded in the jungle due to an accident. Suddenly, one of Beliang's companions began screaming in pain, clutching his ear. Jeff approached, examined the ear closely, and then made a small cut on his own finger, pressing it to the boy's ear. A baby snake emerged from the ear and bit Jeff's hand, but it had no effect on him. Jeff casually threw the snake into the water. Land, who was observing, noticed this and realized something was off. Being a snake expert, she knew that to become immune to snake venom, a person must inject a significant amount of venom into their body over time. She expressed her concerns to Beliang, saying, "I don't think this Jeff is a good person. Did you see how the snake bit him, but it didn't affect him at all?" Meanwhile, Jeff meets with the captain of the boat, attempting to convince him to take the vessel to a specific location on his map. Upon hearing the name of the place, the captain pulls out a gun and shoots at Jeff, narrowly missing him. He warns Jeff, saying, "If you mention going there again, I will kill you. Don't you know that place is cursed?" The captain was clearly aware of Crimson Anaconda's legend. Jeff, realizing the tension, decides to back off for the moment. However, as he leaves, the captain, who was fishing at the time, suddenly feels a powerful tug on his fishing rod from below. As he pulls on the line, he loses his balance and falls into the water. In reality, this was a trap set by Jeff, who had lured the captain into it, intending to use him as bait for the anaconda. The captain's disappearance arouses Land's suspicions. She confronts Jeff, demanding to know where the captain is. Jeff nonchalantly replies, "This is the jungle. People disappearing here is not uncommon." Suddenly, they hear a rustling sound in the water. When asked what it was, Jeff ominously says, "Something very big is coming." Moments later, a massive anaconda emerges from the depths of the river, moving towards Jeff's trap. The creature is so powerful that it yanks Jeff's fishing rod with tremendous force, pulling Jeff into the water with the rope still attached to him. The anaconda thrashes Jeff around violently, but he doesn't give up. He manages to reach a small boat floating nearby and ties the fishing rod to it, then grabs a pointed rod and begins attacking the anaconda's body in the water. Though the attack doesn't kill the anaconda, it enrages the beast, which retaliates by dragging Jeff's small boat to the riverbank and slamming him around with full force. Just as it seems Jeff might meet his end, Anaconda locks him inside the boat. The onlookers from the circus, who were observing from a distance, assume that Jeff is dead. However, Jeff re-emerges, floating on his ship, searching for the anaconda. Unbeknownst to him, the massive serpent is now on the roof of his ship, lurking behind him. In a dramatic moment, Anaconda spits out the captain's corpse in front of everyone. Horrified, the onlookers flee and hide in a bathroom. The anaconda pursues them, trying to break down the door. From outside, Jeff attacks the anaconda again with a pointed weapon, angering it further and drawing its attention away from the hiding circus members. To escape Anaconda's attack, Jeff temporarily disappears from view. The anaconda, in its fury, enters the ship, searching for him. Beliang and his companions are hiding in a compartment, and they narrowly avoid detection as the anaconda slithers over them. Lane, armed with a gun, is hiding in the control room, watching the massive snake pass by the window. The anaconda, moving between the roof and the lower bathroom window, attacks two of the remaining companions. One of them manages to reach Lane, seeking refuge. The anaconda, still in pursuit, follows them. In the ensuing chaos, a large amount of kerosene spills, and the anaconda becomes even more aggressive. As Jeff attempts another attack, one of his companions becomes trapped in the anaconda's jaws. The anaconda thrashes violently, damaging the ship as it struggles to free its head. Just as Jeff is about to capture the anaconda with a rope, the ship's control room catches fire. The flames quickly spread, reaching the dynamite stored on board. A massive explosion engulfs the ship, forcing everyone to jump into the water to save their lives. The explosion finally kills the anaconda. As the ship burns, Beliang starts crying, devastated that they won't reach Thailand on time. In frustration, his younger companion snaps at him. "Are you crazy? We just survived a giant anaconda. We're alive. Isn't that enough for you?" Meanwhile, Lane realizes that all this chaos was caused by Jeff's obsession with the anaconda. Jeff had taken control of the group's ship, using it as leverage to force them into his plan. Lane confronted him, saying, "If you hadn't done this, we wouldn't be in such danger." Jeff responded, "Do you know the value of that anaconda? If you had helped me capture it, we'd all be millionaires by now." Beliang, driven by greed, immediately sided with Jeff, forgetting about their original plan to reach Thailand. He asked eagerly, "Tell me, what do we need to do to catch that anaconda? How do we get the money? Where do we have to go?" Jeff, seeing Beliang's interest, pulled out his map and promised, "If you help me, I'll lead you to Thailand in 2 days using this map." Beliang, realizing both his desires could be fulfilled, agreed to go along with Jeff. However, Beliang's companions remained distrustful of Jeff. One of them, a woman, had been bitten by a dangerous insect and was in critical condition. Jeff offered a solution, saying, "I have a medicine that can save her, but it's on my boat. If you want to save her, you'll have to take me back to my ship." Reluctantly, the group agreed to assist Jeff. As they trekked through the jungle, Jeff warned them, "Don't drink the water here. There are insects that, once inside you, create such an insatiable thirst that you'll drown yourself in the river." Night fell, and the group took refuge in a cave where they lit a fire. Jeff sat alone, staring at the map and recalling the first time he encountered the crimson anaconda. In a flashback, it was revealed that the anaconda had nearly killed Jeff, but he managed to outsmart it by locking himself in a wooden container. The explosion from the dynamite set by Beliang's group had freed Jeff, allowing him to meet up with them. Returning to the present, Jeff explained to Beliang, "This anaconda isn't just any snake. It's a mutated anaconda, a king among anacondas. It's hunted down the biggest animals, even devouring other large anacondas. If we capture it, our families will be set for generations." Enticed by the promise of wealth, Beliang agreed to help Jeff. During the night, Beliang awoke from a nightmare where he and the others were surrounded by giant anacondas. Shaken, he noticed his brother was missing. He rushed out of the cave and found his brother drowning in the river, insects crawling out of his nose, the same deadly insects Jeff had warned them about. Despite Beliang's efforts, his brother succumbed to the poison. Beliang mourned, but there was nothing he could do. The next morning, the group resumed their journey, only to be confronted by a pathless stretch of jungle. With no other choice, they had to wade into the river. Everyone was hesitant, haunted by their past experiences in the water, but they had no other option. As they moved through the river, one of the boys pointed frantically at the water. Suddenly, a massive anaconda appeared, circling them. Terrified, the boy began reciting something in desperation, but fear made him an easy target. The anaconda's mouth was behind him before he could react. It attacked, shaking him violently. Lane tried to intervene, but the anaconda had already crushed the boy's bones. It constricted him until he suffocated, and then dragged his lifeless body into the water. The others could do nothing but watch in horror. The anaconda vanished into the depths, leaving the group in shock. After some time, they finally reached Jeff's boat. True to his word, Jeff handed over the medicine that could save Beliang's injured companion. Upon reaching Thailand, Beliang and his companions, now impoverished and exhausted, were eager to leave. Jeff, however, demanded that they fulfill their end of the bargain. "I brought you here safely, as promised, but now you must help me catch the anaconda," he insisted. The little boy, terrified, protested, "If your help involves that anaconda, we're not interested." Jeff, unfazed, drew his gun, and Beliang brandished his knife, showing that he was now Jeff's ally. "Do it quickly," Beliang ordered. "The anaconda can only be captured while it's feeding." With that, Jeff and Beliang tied two of their companions onto a net and dangled them in front of the crimson anaconda. The crying child asked Beliang, "Why are you doing this? If we die, who will perform in your circus?" Beliang laughed maniacally, revealing his true intentions. "Did you think I brought you here for the circus? I planned to sell your organs, but now I see that capturing this anaconda will make me far more money." While Jeff set up the trap, he tied the two girls to a tree. One of the girls, being resourceful, managed to free herself and grab Jeff's gun, aiming to shoot him. Unfortunately, the gun jammed, and Jeff subdued her. Just as he was about to kill her, the other girl intervened, stabbing Jeff with a knife. Jeff shoved her aside and tried to reclaim the gun from her dot amid the chaos. An anaconda managed to get back on Jeff. Meanwhile, Beliang, holding the rope to the net, was unaware of the danger looming behind him. A second massive anaconda silently approached him and struck, killing him before he could react. Lane, witnessing the violence, took action. She struck Jeff on the head with a piece of wood, knocking him unconscious. Seizing the opportunity, Lane and the surviving girl fled to their boat, escaping with Jeff in tow. However, the anaconda, critically wounded by Jeff's gunfire, succumbed to its injuries. As they were preparing to leave, a dart struck Jeff in the back of his neck. He collapsed, revealing that the dart had been fired by an unseen assailant. The scene revealed that Jeff had indeed survived the anaconda attack by severing its head. Showcasing his cunning survival skills, Jeff ties all three captives, Beliang, the young boy, and the girl, as bait for the crimson anaconda and sets up a trap with a sharp wire perimeter around them. The area is soon swarming with smaller anacondas, which scare away when a larger anaconda approaches. As the larger anaconda closes in to swallow the captives, it is attacked and killed by the crimson anaconda. The crimson anaconda, now free to pursue itself, wraps its enormous body around the tied protagonists. Jeff, desperately trying to subdue the beast, releases a net to trap the anaconda. Despite his efforts, the anaconda overpowers him. As Jeff tries to pull the rope to restrain it, he gets caught between two trees and is devoured by the anaconda. In a desperate move, the young boy, despite bleeding from his mouth, bites through the rope that binds them. He frees the others, but the anaconda, now enraged, focuses on him. The child flees into a wooden container. On the other side, the container's door is shut tight, and the boy struggles to break it open as the anaconda approaches. The child manages to open the door just in time and escapes. The survivors run, believing they are safe. They don't realize that Jeff strategically placed a wire Y-30 strands across the jungle. As the crimson anaconda pursues them, it encounters the wire, and its head is severed. The group looks back, astonished to see the anaconda's headless body, and believes their nightmare is over. They escape from the jungle, relieved but wary of further dangers. However, in the final scene, it's revealed that the crimson anaconda was not truly dead. As Jeff had indicated earlier, it was a mutated anaconda with regenerative abilities. The severed head of the anaconda begins to regenerate, signaling that the monster is alive once again, and the story ends with this ominous revelation.